Crystal of Crystal Sews and Stuff on Instagram. Welcome to the channel. I want to just thank you all for coming back today. Welcome all my subscribers and all the new viewers today. So today I wanted to share with you my makes for January 2018. So I got four items made in January, and the first item that I made was McCall 6844, and this is a cardigan pattern. And I made this cardigan. It turned out to be more like a jacket because of my fabric choice. But I made this cardigan to enter into the patternreview.com's sewing bee. I only made it through, I didn't make it past round one, but I still am very happy with my make. So the theme was to make, the challenge was to make a cardigan, a sleeved cardigan, at least a long sleeve cardigan that had to be hip length, between hip and knee length, and you had to make out of a knit fabric. So, and the theme of it was living coral. The color of the year, the Pantone's color of the year is living coral, which is a bright pinkish reddish color. And I decided, and it just had to be based on that color. It didn't have to be that exact color, but you had to be inspired by the color living coral. So when I heard about the challenge, I said, I have this peach ponte in my stash that looks really close to me. It's in the coral family. And then I thought about this fabric that I used for a dress that I made in December. And I still had a little bit left, and so I used that for the sleeves because it contrasts so well. So what I did was I decided to add all the colors together. So I made peach. I used this peach ponte knit that I picked up at Diane Fabrics in New York City, 2 years ago in January. And I also used, then I decided to use this lightweight ITY knit, and I underlined it to the ponte, and it makes the colors just stand out. And then for the collar, I actually messed up with the cutting of the pattern out, so I decided to use this turquoise cotton jersey for the back side of the collar. So I really love this jacket cardigan, and every time when I wore it on the Friday that I took the train up to New York to go fabric shopping and for our little New York City trip that my husband and I took. And everybody on the train really loved my jacket, and I got a lot of positive reviews on Instagram for this, and I just love this. It's just so bright and colorful and cheery. And I'll show some twirls of me wearing it at the end of the video. So that was my first make. And I used the Reader's Digest to help me figure out how to underline this fabric. So what I did was I used steamer seam to baste the two fabrics together, and I'll show a picture of how I did. I just basically, instead of using thread to baste the two fabrics together, I used steamer seam, and I just pressed the edges down. So I'm gonna be underlining this knit fabric. This is the ITY fabric that I used on a McCall's dress that I finished last year, but the fabric is very thin. So I'm gonna underline it by mounting it onto this peachy coral ponte knit. So right now, so far, I've pinned all the sides, and then I'm gonna go over it with, I'm gonna lift this up, and this is wrong sides together because I'm using my Reader's Digest Complete Guide to Sewing, and I'm going over how to underline fabrics. And if you have this edition, it's on page 74. What edition is it? I think so. It's a 1970s edition that I picked up a while ago from a secondhand bookstore, a used bookstore. So anyway, I'm using this book, and it tells you how to underline fabrics. But they tell you to hand bake it, but since I have this steamer seam and it's a 1/4 inch, and that's within the seam allowance, I'm just going to line it up here with the steamer seam all the way around, so I can treat both sleeves as one. And you can pick up steamer seam at Joann's. And I love the way it came out. So this is a great way to make thin knits more stable. So I'm really glad I tried that technique, and I used the Reader's Digest book to help me figure it out. So the next thing that I made was New Look 6519, and I made the top version B, and I participated in the Closet Fabric Challenge by Faith St. Jules on Instagram, and I used fabric from my dress that I made about, how long ago did I make that dress? About 3-4 years ago, and I made it all on my own. I just started sewing, and the book that I use is called Sewing in a Straight Line. So this is the book that I use. It's called Sewing in a Straight Line, and it's by Brett Barra, and she did a couple of classes on Craftsy, so you can check her out on, now it's Blueprint, but she also does a class on how to do an A-line skirt, and I do have one of her classes as well. So I use this book, and this is the dress that I used to make, the dress that I had with the fabric. So, but I was a really new sewer, and so when I did the shearing, it was super crooked. It was very crooked, and I couldn't figure out side seams. I did one side, you were supposed to French seam it together, and I couldn't work out how to get French seams on both sides. So I did French seams on one side, and I did a straight seam, and then I did overcast stitches on the seam, and then my hem was like so wonky and wobbly. And so after I started sewing a while, I stopped wearing the dress. Mind you, when I made it, I wore that dress to death. I didn't know that it was wrong. But anyway, I decided I really loved that wearing the dress, and I loved the bright color yellow in the fabric. So I decided to repurpose the dress for the challenge. And so this is the top. It's this New Look 6519. And it's a really simple top. It has a scoop neck in the front and then a V-neck in the back. So it's a really simple pattern. It's just a front, a back, and it also has optional sleeves so you can extend it. Because really the sleeves are kind of grown on up to this point, and then you just add the sleeve to lengthen the sleeve out. So it's a really simple pattern, and then you just do a turned over hem, and the only tricky part, I guess, would say is doing the ties, but they have dot points for you to put that in, and you just got to make sure you sew them in correctly without getting it twisted or anything. So I just pinned it down while I sewed the sides up. So this is a super easy pattern, and I highly recommend that. Again, that's New Look 6519, and this fabric is a rayon challis, and I picked up from Joann's, and I believe it was in the Gertie collection of fabrics a couple years ago. So that is my second make. And then the third make that I have is this whole outfit, which is McCall 6844. It's the top and then the pants. So I'll show closer up pictures and a video at the end, and I'm so in love with this outfit. So the knit, this knit is like a rayon cotton jersey that is from Fabric Mart Fabrics, and I've had this fabric for like 2 years, I think, at least a year. I've had it for a while, and I just didn't know what I wanted to make with it because I really don't wear a lot of black. But I did like the digital print of the floral fabric. So this black and white fabric is from Fabric Mart, and then the white ponte is from my stash, and I believe I picked it up at a thrift store, honestly, but I don't remember where I got it. But it's a really nice ponte, like a rib ponte, because it's comes in a tube. So I didn't have to make a whole lot of changes. I did shorten the sleeves by a ½ inch. So on the lengthen and shorten lines, I shorten the sleeves, and you have to remember the sleeves aren't identical. There are a lot of pieces in this pattern, but the directions are really clear about how to sew everything together. So I did shorten the sleeves by a ½ inch there, and so I marked it a ½ inch, so when you fold it up, it ends up being a whole inch that I marked the sleeves up. And then I also, the pattern only came, I got the smaller size range for the patterns. That's what I usually do. But when you have top and the bottom, I'm usually should be in the larger size ranges for the bottom, because I usually wear a 16. So I had to make my own size 16. So what I did was I added a ¼ inch to the front part of the pants leg, and then a ½ inch to the back, so to the butt curve and all the way down, and then I tapered it down to the bottom. So those are the changes that I made. And this was a really, it wasn't a super quick sew, because you have to really pay attention to the directions and make sure you look at the pictures and the diagrams when you follow this pattern, because I accidentally sewed one of the arms to the neckband, and I had to unpick it. I was so mad, because I said, well, let me, you know how you try on stuff as you're making it, and I went to try it on. I was like, where do I put my head? And then I said, uh-oh. I had sewed this bottom part to the neckband. I had to unpick the whole thing, so that was a pain, but fortunately it all worked out. So that's my third and fourth mix, because the top and the bottom 3 and 4. And I also did a rolled serge hem for the bottom of the top, instead of they have you turn it over, do a narrow hem. I decided I didn't want to do the narrow hem. I decided to do the rolled serge hem. I did test it a couple times on the serges to make sure it all worked well with the fabric, and I love the way it turned out. I highly recommend this pattern, because it's just, I never thought I would really be into something like, I think this is considered athleisure, but just because when I sew, I try to sew so I can look more dressed up, but this is just so perfect, because you still be comfortable and casual. I could go for a walk with the kids, or go for a power walk around the track and then go get the kids and still look cute at pickup. So anyway, I just love this outfit. I'm loving, it's just so comfortable, but it's still cute. So I really highly recommend this pattern. For January 2019. In February, I'll be doing a couple patterns for the Black History Month challenge that's put on by Natita, Natural Dane, and Myra Lorraine. And so I'll be doing a couple patterns for Black History Month in February. So thank you so much for watching. I still haven't narrowed down exactly what I'm gonna make, but I do have a couple patterns picked out. So, but in February, I will be doing a couple patterns by Black designers for the Black History Month challenge. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care and stay warm, because you know what? It's cold. It's so cold, but I love y'all so much that I took a couple pictures outside today in this outfit. It was like 17 degrees this morning. cold in Maryland, and they're calling for another inch of snow tonight, and school's been out and delayed and just craziness. So you guys stay warm if you're here in America, especially if you're up in Chicago and Wisconsin where it's like negative 50 degrees and negative 20 degrees. Please stay warm and safe and drive safely. Can't wait to see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.